Hello viewers, I'm Dr. Victor and I'll be discussing obesity and overweight under the following outlines. First, definition of obesity and overweight. Second, what is body mass index? Next is the prevalence of obesity and overweight, as well as the causes of obesity and overweight and complications of obesity and overweight. And finally, prevention and control of obesity and overweight with the World Health Organization response. Now, obesity can simply be defined as an abnormal accumulation of excessive fats which may impair health. I move on to body mass index. Body mass index is simply a rough estimate to calculate those who are either obese or overweight. Now, it works with a formula that simply is the weight in kilograms divided by the height in meters squared. I give an example. If a person weighs 75 kg and has a height of 1.65 meters, it simply means 75 kg divided by the square of 1.65 meters. Although this is a rough estimate for calculation of the body mass index because it may not really apply to most individuals most of the time. And the World Health Organization has proposed that individuals or adults who have a body mass index of equal to or greater than 25 kilograms per meter square are termed overweight, while adults who have a body mass index equal to or greater than 30 kilograms per meter square are obese. Now, this formula or this body mass index doesn't apply for the same thing for children because there is a different method for estimation of their body mass index. Now, for the children, it's been categorized into two groups: children under the ages of 5 and children between the ages of 5 to 19 years. For children under the ages of 5, it's simply the weight for height equal to or greater than 2 standard deviation above the World Health Organization Child Growth Standard median, and any value greater than or equal to 3 is for obese children. Now we move on to children aged between the ages of 5 to 19. It simply is the weight for age equal to or greater than 1 standard deviation above the World Health Organization growth reference median for children who are underweight, and any value equal to or greater than 2 is 10 for children who are obese in the ages of 5 to 19 years. Now I move on to the prevalence of obesity. In 2016, it was estimated that 1.9 billion people were overweight, with 650 million people obese. Now, 39% of people who were overweight came up with a range of 39 within the 39% for men and about 41% for women who were overweight. And world total obesity percentage as at that time was 13%. And within that 13%, we had men coming up with about 11% and women coming up with about 15%. Although obesity itself's prevalence has nearly tripled its effect from 1975 to 2016. And with that, it was estimated that about 38.2 million children under the ages of 5 were obese, having about 124 million of children who were obese as at 2016. And we also came up to, and the World Health Organization came up with a value that made it clear that the prevalence of obesity was gradually increasing over time, right from the year of 1975, which was of about 4%, to 2016, which came up with about 18%. With that aside, I move on next to the causes of obesity. Now, the fundamental for causes of obesity is a simple analogy where there is an energy imbalance between calories consumed and calories expended. Let me make it clear. If you have a diet which is rich or high in dense energy and you are not expending that energy out, the body has a way it accumulates this as fats. And now that leads us to what could be the causes. Number one individual cause of obesity has always been an increased diet in high dense energy and fats, as well as diets high in sugars. And second cause of obesity has also been linked with increase in physical inactivity, in the sense that most people have been exposed to sedentary lifestyles which make them unable to possibly utilize this energy through forms of exercise, change of work patterns, urbanization, and modes of transportation. And over time, it has made people to accumulate a lot of fat and make them unable to burn out this energy. And also, we have genetic factors involved, but that may not be the topic for now. We have genetic factors involved. People who are having the gene of obesity as claimed as a OBY1 and 2 gene. So with that aside, we move on to the complications of obesity. What do you think the complications of obesity could be? With an increasing body mass index, there is an increasing risk for complication of obesity. First of all, we have cardiovascular diseases such as a heart attack and a stroke. You could develop a heart attack and a stroke as a complication of obesity. Second, we could also have musculoskeletal disorders. Musculoskeletal disorders most of the times could predispose you to arthritis or as a complication of obesity, osteoarthritis, and for children, they are prone to fractures and they are prone to premature deaths as developing obesity in an older or an adult age. And also, we could have diabetes mellitus. Diabetes mellitus is another complication of obesity because of weight and possibly insensitivity to insulin resistance. So we're looking up at cancers. We have some cancers that are possibly complications of obesity, such as breast cancers, endometrial cancer, ovarian cancers, cancer of the gallbladder, cancer of the liver, cancer of the prostate. And over time, these have been associated with obesity as a complication. Now, we move on to what could be the prevention and control of obesity. Prevention and control of obesity actually works with the standard of the individual himself and the society. And I'll categorize for the individual. For the individual, it's simple. How do you prevent or control obesity or overweight? One, you must try as much as possible to cut down diets which are high in fats and high in sugars. Secondly, you must try as much as possible to consume lots of fruits and vegetables, as well as whole grains and legumes, as well as nuts. Then another point could be for you to increase your physical activity. For adults, I'll recommend exercise for about a minimum of 150 minutes widespread during the week, and for children about 60 minutes daily. So with that, on the individual level, I believe you can be also able to prevent or control obesity. Now, how about for the society? If we could look at most food industries who produce the processed foods which are high in fat and high in sugary content, as well as beverages which are high in fat and sugary content, we could put a tax on such goods by the government to make sure that people are not exposed to high density meal energy food or fats or sugars as well. Then looking at it from another angle, we could also talk or have a conversation with most of these food industries and enlighten them about the awareness of the complications of food that have high fats and high sugars within them. So if we could discuss that with the food industry, they should be able to reduce the content of the processed foods which have high fat and high sugars. So I believe with this, the government or the community should be able to set up a system whereby people will be physically engaged activity even at work, and also to enable them engage in physical activity, as well as controlling what they eat and awareness on how to have a ration or balanced diet to prevent them from developing obesity. Now, for the World Health Organization, the World Health Organization had a World Health Assembly on non-communicable diseases, of which obesity is one of them. And the World Organization from 2004 to 2011 held meetings consecutively on these non-communicable diseases such as obesity, to try as much as possible to create a strategy or a policy for people who are possibly obese, and also to enable or tell them about the dangers of obesity by working out a proper diet plan and also engaging in physical activity. I think it's about the World Health Organization strategy, global strategy for diet and physical activity. Then also the Sustainable Development Goals for 2030 also came up with a meeting for this diseases such as obesity under non-communicable disease, to be able to implement or set up a policy for people who, one way or the other, who have been exposed to these non-communicable diseases such as obesity, to let them or enable them reduce the premature mortality of non-communicable diseases to about 1/3 of its prevalence. And I think finally, the World Health Organization also tried to make up a global strategy for action planning for physical activity by people engaging in various sports and various exercises to be able to limit the prevalence of obesity. So with that aside, your take-home point should be this. 1, what are the causes of obesity? Like you've been told, 1, we have increase in diets which are high in fats and high in sugars. So cut down on your diets which are high in fats and high in sugars, and also try as much as possible to engage in physical activity, our exercises, with a minimum of about 150 minutes a week, widespread, and to avoid developing obesity and its complication. And also, I recommend you go for or you do your body mass index check regularly to know if you're overweight or if you're obese. And I think this should be able to guide you on what to do. And also, I would just advise that you try as much as possible to have more of fruits and more of vegetables rather than diets which are high in sugars and high in fats. So once again, I'm Dr. Victor. Thank you very much for listening.